If you're considering selling your home, you're probably wondering how much money you actually take away from the sale. But you won't get to keep all of it. Some will go towards various expenses like taxes and closing fees. You'll want to know these costs up front so you can plan for your next home purchase. Besides paying off your mortgage, sellers typically spend around 10 to 15% of the home's price on selling costs. But how much does selling a house really cost? It depends on your home's sales price, your location, and any agreement you reach with the buyer. These costs can include fees for real estate agents, lawyers, title work, taxes, and other administrative charges. If you still owe money on your mortgage, your lender might have some additional fees too. Knowing these costs ahead of time can help avoid any surprises at closing. Costs of selling a home. Here are some of the typical costs home sellers can expect. The first one is real estate commission. If you work with a real estate agent, their commission will likely be one of the biggest costs. A listing agent can charge a flat fee or a percentage of the home sale price. For example, if you sell your house for $400,000 with a 3% listing agent commission, you could be paying your agent about $12,000. However, you might be able to negotiate a lower rate. Remember, everything is negotiable. Also, keep in mind that while sellers used to cover the fees for both agents involved, things have changed due to a recent agreement by the National Association of Realtors. Now, buyers may need to pay their own agent's fee, depending on the specific of the deal. So, as the seller, you may or may not be responsible for covering the buyer's agent's fee as well. Send me a direct message if you have any questions about the NAR settlement. I would be more than happy to go over it. Next, seller's closing costs. In a real estate sale, many closing costs are the buyer's responsibility, but sellers also have their own closing costs. Some common expenses include title insurance, recording fees, settlement fees, and prorated property taxes up to the day of closing. You'll also likely pay for services like escrow and wire transfers. If you've hired a real estate attorney, their fees will be due at closing as well. In some cases, you might be asked to cover a portion of the buyer's costs, especially in a shifting market where buyers have more leverage. While you aren't required to agree, this is a common part of negotiations. Next is your mortgage payoff. Your current mortgage doesn't just go away when you sell your property. You'll need to pay off any remaining balance before the ownership can be transferred. This will likely include any prorated interest that has built up. If your mortgage has a prepayment penalty, you may also face an extra fee. So it's a good idea to check out your loan documents or ask your lender for details. Next will be moving cost. When you sell your place, you have to move all your stuff to the next place. Paying for professional movers will set you back between $1,000 to $3,000, with the average moving price being about $1,500, according to the HomeAdvisor.com. However, that price tag can be a lot higher if you're moving long distance. Next would be taxes. If you make a profit from selling your home, you might have to pay federal income taxes. However, you could be eligible to exclude part of the profit if you meet two conditions. You own the home for at least 2 years and live in it for at least 2 of the last 5 years. If you qualify, you can exclude up to $250,000 of the profit as a single filer, or up to $500,000 if you're married and file jointly. Your profit is based on your adjusted cost basis, not just what you originally paid for the home. The adjusted cost basis includes the purchase price plus any improvements you made, like a new roof or adding central air. You can also include some closing costs from when you first bought the home. The length of time you own the home affects how your profit is taxed. If you own it for more than a year, your profit will be taxed as a long-term capital gains rate. If you own it for less than a year, the tax rate may be higher as it will be taxed as a short-term capital gain. Next, optional fees when selling a home. While some expenses are mandatory, like taxes, others are optional. Here are some things you might choose to do to improve your home's appeal before you list it, all of which will incur extra expenses. Home repairs and improvements. Before selling your home, you might think about doing some renovations to boost its value. However, it's a good idea to talk to your real estate agent first to see if the cost will be worth it. Agents often talk about curb appeal, which refers to the impression your home makes when potential buyers first see it. If you're selling, you want your home to be in the best possible shape to attract more buyers and possibly get a higher price. Costs to get your home ready for sale might include repainting, landscaping, or making repairs. If a home inspector finds issues, you may need to fix them or work out a deal with the buyer. Some sellers also choose to stage their home, which involves decluttering and possibly buying or renting new furniture. According to a 2021 report from the National Association of Realtors, hiring a professional stager can cost around $1,500, but is often paid off by helping you sell faster or for a better price. Next is home inspection. In addition to talking with your agent, it can be wise to consult a professional home inspector. A pre-listing inspection will likely cost a few $100s, and it will fill you in on any major problems before a potential buyer sees them. For example, if a home inspector finds a leak in your bathroom, you can proactively address the problem and remove any possibility of a buyer asking you to lower the price to repair it. Next is staging. A staged home typically sells for 17% more than an unstaged one, and 95% of staged home sells in 11 days or less. Staging helps make the space feel neutral, allowing buyers to imagine how they would personalize it. However, it does come with a cost. Home Advisor estimates the average cost of staging is between $500 up to $2,000, though larger homes may cost more. According to the National Association of Realtors, staging agreements vary, but sellers often cover the costs. A real estate agent can assist by recommending a staging company, helping secure a discount, or even offering to cover the costs until closing. What closing costs does a home buyer have to pay? Home buyers have several fees to cover when closing on a home. Common costs include a mortgage origination fee, property appraisal fee, title search fee, title insurance, and the first year of homeowner's insurance. Some of these fees may be negotiable, and the seller might agree to help with some as part of the deal. In total, buyers' closing costs usually add up to around 3 to 6% of the home's sales price. Are closing costs tax deductible? Most closing costs are not tax deductible. The exceptions are mortgage interest, including points, and real estate taxes. And that's only if the buyers or sellers itemize deductions when they file their tax return for the year. However, sellers are allowed to add some of the original closing costs to the adjusted cost basis for their home, which can reduce their tax liability. What is a no closing cost mortgage? A no closing cost mortgage is one in which the lender will either add the borrower's closing costs to the loan amount or charge a higher interest rate to make it up for them. In other words, even if you don't have to pay any closing costs initially, you'll still pay them over time. So, selling a home comes with several costs. The biggest one is usually the real estate agent's commission, but there are other expenses to keep in mind. If you make a large profit from the sale, You might also have to pay income taxes on part of it. Each property is different, so you need to think about what factors will affect your sale. Now that you have a better understanding of the costs involved in selling your house, it's time to look for a local agent who knows your market and can help you achieve a successful and profitable sale. Schedule interviews with a few candidates to learn about their marketing and sales strategies. Keep in mind that you're paying them from your proceeds, so you're in charge. Don't hesitate to ask lots of questions to find the right person for the job. And remember, you can always message me through the link in the podcast description if you have any questions. Thanks for tuning in. Discover more about Las Vegas and Henderson with our free relocation guide. For additional details or a free consultation, visit my website or social media. Find all the links in this podcast description. Also, I love hearing from our listeners. If you have any questions, comments, topic suggestions, or real estate stories to share, please reach out to us. You can follow me on my social media pages. Just search for Long's Real Estate, local realtor in Las Vegas and Henderson, Nevada. I will also save the links in the description of this video. Until then, remember, in Las Vegas and Henderson, the odds are always in your favor when you have the right real estate agent by your side. Thanks for joining us today. See you next week.